And for one last time in 2025, Leicester aiming to end their 8-game wait for a league victory. London City Lionesses targeting a 6th top-flight victory in their maiden campaign, equalling that joint record set by Sunderland and Manchester United. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. As mentioned, former Arsenal, Spurs and Palace goalkeeper Chloe Morgan alongside me. Chloe, two teams very much forged in the BWSL too, but at two very different stages of their respective projects.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester have obviously been a massive part of the WSL 1 for such a long period of time, but they did ground that experience in the WSL 2. I mean, playing against them, they were always difficult opposition, very gritty, very determined, very difficult to break down, and we do see a little bit with that with Leicester in the WSL, but I think it's the back, it's the defensive issues. I think we've seen so many goals conceded this season, which has always made it difficult for them to get out of that relegation zone, but this is a good chance to maybe do that.
London City Lionesses wasting no time in getting themselves forward. Here's Paris, dispossessed, and then Leicester will just clear that one to safety. Yana Fernandez back for Bassa Sangare, who was included in the France senior squad for the very first time on the most recent international break, still just 19 years old, and forging a very effective partnership with Elena Linari at centre-back for London City. They seem to have much more of a settled back four here. Yana Fernandez providing the width on the right-hand side. Freya Godfrey ahead of her, who won't be able to keep that one in play.
The first opening minutes have been a little bit shaky from both sides. I think they're both still trying to settle and find their feet, but there is a little bit more going forwards in terms of the London City Lionesses, and I kind of expected that while Leicester was still growing into the game, but it is still very, very early doors, and I can't quite see who's going to make that first move so far.
Fernandez happy to watch that one roll out of play. Be interesting to see what early patterns of play begin to establish themselves in this game as Leicester recycle the ball well there. Sam Tierney finding Van Egmond. In the starting 11 today, of course, trying to release Asmita Ale down that left-hand side. She is a buccaneering fullback.
This is good initial play from Leicester here. I think, you know, what they're trying to do is let London City have the ball, kind of be patient, let them just play around for a little bit, and then try and get that break. I think the final pass is always just slightly a couple of inches too long, so it's not paying off so far.
It's interesting to look across the Leicester City back line and see Yanni Skyman almost anchoring the back five that they have there. She's a player who, in her later years, seems to be dropping closer and closer towards her own goal, but that seems to be where Rick Passmore believes she has the greatest level of involvement and influence. 37 years old now, the Leicester City captain. Excellent role model for all of those younger players. Anna Kane had gone far too early there, knew she was offside, so was happy to let that one run all the way through for Elena Letta in the London City goal, who is actually level with Janina Leipzig this season for number of BWSL goals conceded with 20. While London City have shot themselves up the table, at times they've shot themselves in the foot defensively, and that is something I'm sure they'll be looking to improve on in the second half of this campaign. One back by Swaby. It's a thumping challenge from Sam Tierney in midfield.
To your point there, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Jocelyn does in the January transfer window. Obviously, there was so much movement as the squad made it into the BWSL 1, and I think that was a massive time for him to kind of navigate that transition, get those new players bedded in, and trying to get his philosophy across to the players. But the January transfer window is going to be that time to kind of really shore up those gaps that you see, and like you said there, that defensively they're not too great, but they've just been so good at getting that final goal, getting those points, becoming kind of mentality monsters themselves in their own right.
Saw Izzy Goodwin get caught out for being a bit too overzealous to win possession back. A prime example of London City's high-pressing game. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed that this afternoon Leicester City have replaced their sponsor to show their support for the city's hospital charity. The Leicester Hospitals charity is currently raising funds to create a parent lounge for the Children's Intensive Care Unit at Leicester Royal Infirmary. So the men's team also switched their sponsor for yesterday's 3-1 victory over Ipswich Town here as part of the club-wide initiative.
It's interesting to see the impact that Van Egmont's already having. I mean, she's such an experienced player that she's able to kind of find those gaps. She's able to cool them down, to calm them down, to make sure that the passing is key, because accuracy in this game is going to be absolutely phenomenal for them.
Thibaut immediately closed down by Rafia Umiran, who is having a really stellar start to life in the top tier. Nigerian international. She's actually attempted more dribbles from fullback than any other player from London City Lionesses in the top flights this season. As Thibaut can deliver this cross in. And there was a push in the back from Asmita Ale at that far post.
I think that's what I love to see players developing in. You've got a defensive player, their roles and responsibilities, but at the same time, Imran's, like you said, one of those players who can really drive the ball forward, get you out of danger and kind of relieve that pressure at the back, and provide an outlet up top. So yeah, she's it's the versatility of these players is there in the BWSL. It's becoming almost frightening sometimes.
Spoken like a goalkeeper.
Yes.
Versatility, not on the job description for you.
Not so much.
Here's Lenari, who of course scored earlier this season from the penalty spot. High pressure situation, and what a turning point that turned out to be for London City. Only had one win up to that point, and then by being able to snatch those 3 points late on against Liverpool, they were then able to follow it up with a win over West Ham, and then wins followed against Tottenham and Aston Villa as well, as they started their climb up the table. It feels now like they have a settled structure. We spoke a lot. There was plenty of, criticism in the media about the number of players that they were signing, the huge turnover of both staff and players on the pitch. Seems for now, though, they have a steady ship and an effective one as well.
Yeah, I think, obviously everyone was kind of, anticipating that this was going to be quite a challenging season for them. When you step up into the BWSL 1, it's, you never know what's going to happen. The level of the standard, the level of quality, how fast the game is played is all something you've got to get used to.
Here's Hannah Kane looking for Shannon O'Brien. It's Freya Godfrey, who was diligently tracking back on that far side, and that's a nice couple of touches from Imran to escape Thibaut.
Really lovely there from Thibaut, anticipating where the goalkeeper's going to play out to. It's a difficult pass from the goalkeeper there for Imran to control first time. She's always going to get her foot stuck a little bit, but I absolutely love how front-footed Thibaut was in that situation. Those are the kind of front-footedness that lead to opportunities. So I'd like to see a lot more of that from Leicester today.
It does feel like somewhat of a strange thing to say, given that they do come into this game, Leicester City, on the back of a 4-1 defeat against Brighton, a 3-0 defeat against Crystal Palace in the Subway Women's League Cup, and then a 3-0 defeat at home to Manchester City. But Rick Passmore has certainly added a bit more aggression into their defensive work rate. And OK, it's not coming to fruition with shutting out those teams in recent weeks, but they are starting to press much higher up the pitch and hunt in packs.
I think that's really key. I think, as a team, you're not doing too well, you can have this kind of down-headedness. You sit back a little bit, you kind of wait for teams to come to you. But I think taking the game to teams sometimes, it does really unnerve them a little. They're not expecting it, but at the same time, you are starting to see, Leicester coming forward. They are kind of trying to create opportunities, but it's not quite paying off just yet. But yeah, we're 10 minutes in.
Ana Fernandez dispossessed by Chantal Swaby. Has already made more WSL appearances than she had in her debut campaign last season. This her 7th of the campaign. Full Jamaican international. She actually joined from FC Fleury in France, who were beaten by Jocelyn Préchau's PSG back in 2024 in the Coupe de France final. It's her ball, which has found its way up to Emily Van Egmond. Tierney looking for a bit of pace from that left-hand side in Shannon O'Brien. Now Gaoro happy to just slow things down and try to allow London City to dictate the tempo. We know that Leicester are more of a transitional team. They like to spring a counter-attack, and they do have the quick forwards to match that style in Hannah Kane and Shannon O'Brien. Imran weighted beautifully again by Letta, the pass from the goalkeeper. And Imran can get on her bike on this left-hand side, away from Tierney. And it was Kaiman who was sliding in, and she needed to make that challenge too, because Imran was really making yardage up on this near side.
That is the one thing that Leicester City are going to have to look out for, is that pass just over the back. When you're committing bodies forward, you're inevitably going to leave gaps behind. And you look at the pace of Imran there. If it wasn't for that incredible sliding talents there, she would have been in and probably knocked the ball across the line. But yeah, I think that's a bit of a wake-up call, I think, there for Leicester.
They've won it back high up the pitch here, though. Gifted straight back to London City and Lanari. Here's Godfrey. Able to dribble and drive towards the Leicester City penalty area. Freya Godfrey just blocks on her route through to goal. Islani was trying to pick up the pieces, but Leicester with enough players back there defending the edge of their penalty area.
She's such a great talent, Godfrey. I mean, just having that England senior call-up for the first time last month, I think is going to obviously boost her confidence. But, she's been doing absolute business for London City Lionesses. And I think at that age as well, you forget sometimes that she's only 20 years old. And obviously she has already had some goals under her belt this season, some big ones against Spurs not too long ago as well. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what how she's going to progress in the BWSL 2, BWSL 1 even.
We did mention it, didn't we, in the build-up to today's game, about the importance of the BWSL 2 within the structure of this English women's football pyramid. Freya Godfrey certainly someone who has profited from that. Loans in the second tier with Ipswich, Charlton, and of course London City Lionesses to help them win the division and gain promotion to the top flights. Fernandez's throw, finding her skipper, Aslani. One over the top for Izzy Goodwin to chase as she shifts through the gears, but the experience of Yanis Kaiman used to full effect there.
It's these head-to-head battles that I think are going to become really, really key, and I think it's the pace of the London City Lionesses' top line that I think is going to be matched by Leicester City's defensive experience there.
She's one of those players, isn't she, Izzy Goodwin, where she might not be the quickest in the league over the first couple of yards, but once she gets motoring, goodness me, she's very difficult to stop.
I think it's how she uses her body. You know, she protects the ball super well. She makes sure that she's always on the ball side, and I think she's not afraid to kind of have that physicality and kind of, you know, like body players, get them down, make them really work to get that ball back. So yeah, it's the work rate that she puts in driving forwards, but the protection that she does too.
Here she is again, London City Lionesses leading BWSL goal scorer this season. Netted twice at Everton and also against Aston Villa this season. More shots than anyone else in the London City Lionesses side, but maybe more telling of her play style, more offsides as well. She loves to play on that last shoulder. Paris forced backwards to Lenari. Gave Aslani a lot to do, but she did manage to draw the free kick off Olivia McLaughlin.
It definitely feels like a more patient start from London City. They are getting caught a little bit in possession. You know, they're not passing the ball out as quickly as I would probably hope, which is allowing Leicester City to kind of push forward and really try and take the ball and dispossess them in high areas, which is obviously going to create a little bit of a risk there. But they are finding a lot of luck on the wings, as we're seeing now. They're driving forwards where Leicester are coming a little bit defensively narrow at times.
Godfrey felt as though she was held back by Ali on the far side. I'm not sure Leipzig wanted that pass from Swaby. She's dealt with it nonetheless.
That's an awful one there. Didn't give her much time to readjust her body and get that out on her left foot, which is a difficult one, but she did well.
Sangare. Fernandez to Godfrey. Gioro on the move through the middle, very nearly taking it in her strides. Van Egmond dropping incredibly deep just to get herself involved. And one back by Aslani.
Couple of crunching tackles there. Aslani not looking too good there, but I think she'll be okay. But I think it's really interesting to see now. There's a little bit of frustration sort of happening in that midfield area, which seems to be where most of the players is really happening. Bit of a clumsy challenge there from Loughlin there, but it's one of those things that happens, I think.
No shortage of physicality at this early stage in the game, and it looks like a sore one for Aslani. Perhaps one she will be able to run off. It's interesting, Jocelyn Preshaw was talking about her ahead of this game. He says that Kosovari Aslani represents everything great about the project at London City Lionesses. She has been leading by example on and off the pitch, especially with such a young group of players in places. Of course, they have added plenty of experience as well. And as Chloe Morgan alongside me pointed out, it'll be interesting to see what they do in January, whether they're happy with finishing mid-table in their first season, or whether Michelle Kang might just get her checkbook out again.
I think obviously it's, you know, Michelle Kang does have very deep pockets, but she did a lot of the big spends in the September sort of August window, and you know the amount of players that she brought in, the experience that she brought in, you know, some world record transfers there as well, which people weren't necessarily expecting. But you know, with that caliber of players, you are looking at a team that is pretty much on target with where they should be. I mean, a lot of people were saying, you know, are we going to see a team that goes directly from the BWSL 2 into 1 and then gets a Champions League qualification spot? But I think that's a big ask.
And this has been one of their downfalls this season, sloppy passes like that, but Van Egmond couldn't find Hannah Kane. Surely that was a shove on her back by Gioro. It's been allowed to slide by Mel Bergin, the referee. Still, Leicester City asked the question.
I can understand the process there. I mean, that foul was right in front of the linesman, but it didn't look like it was going to be given at all.
Just needed a bit more quality on that final pass there. We've seen them given, and equally we've seen them turned away as well. Is that a better times run by Shannon O'Brien? The flag has stayed down, and she's inside the area, and it required a big stop from Elena Letta. The first chance really for Leicester City, and it was the London City Lionesses goalkeeper who came out on top.
Absolutely amazing work there from Letta, and I think, you know, you've got to give credit there to, you know, she's running in there, the pace, like she's beating off the defenders, and that last ditch to tackle there. But Letta did absolutely amazing to spread her body, come out and cover that goal line. She you know, the near post is always the one that you don't want to get beaten on, and she makes sure she put that foot out to prevent that goal. So great save. Shannon
O'Brien is the player in form for Leicester City, looking for a third goal in the last 4 BWSL games. Comes out as far as Kaiman. Blocked on its way through. And now Thibault will look to spring another attack forwards. Much more positive this by Leicester City. The most sustained pressure that we've seen on the London City Lionesses back line, but ultimately it does amount to nothing.
Really promising signs there from Leicester driving forward, and Kaiman, I thought she was going to get that amazing volley and it was just going to go through that sea of bodies and catch Leicester off guard. But yeah, amazing block there from the London City Lionesses players. And I've got to give a big shout out there to Aslani, who was first out to try and track down that ball, make sure that there wasn't that lofty ball going back in. So that's the kind of leadership you were talking about previously, that she knows what to do. She's encouraging the players to get up as soon as that ball is going out long. So yeah, we need a little bit more of that, but yeah, she was brilliant in that moment.
Here's Gayoro trying to drag London City back downfield, and she has the talent, the poise, the balance to do so. Imran finding Izzy Goodwin. Turns away from Kaiman. Ale away. Now Godfrey. Aslani. Fernandez on the move. 3 to aim for inside the penalty area, and Swaby will knock that one clear before Paris can get there.
Unfortunate there to not see that ball go over at least the first defender, but a great passage of play there from London City Lionesses, moving the ball so quickly Leicester can't get a look in, and I think making full use of the fact that, you know, those left and right wings are really paying off for them. That is where they're finding the most amount of space to create those chances.
Fernandez again starting to see a bit more of the ball as we approach the midway point in this first half. Leipzig will clear. She didn't actually pick up an illness this week, but she was still involved in training. They were gradually increasing her workload just to make sure that she was okay and fit for the game this afternoon. She actually ranked 7th for the best save percentage in the BWSL this season. As London City took a risk in defence, and McLaughlin could go for goal, but neither had the pace nor the accuracy to trouble Letta.
I'll always rate the ambition, seeing the goalkeeper off their line, not fully set, running backwards, and trying your luck in a situation like that. The goalkeeper did well passing that ball out, but it was a little bit too short. But McLaughlin in there, seeing her off the line, trying to get that maybe the volley just overhead. But yeah, unfortunate. But I rate the effort and the ambition.
One of those as a goalkeeper you would hate to see sail over your heads into the net. I'm not suggesting that happened to you.
Oh, never. No, not entirely.
Game's first yellow card for Chantal Swaby.
I think that's a little bit of the frustration there coming out with Swaby. I think when you've got the pace of the London City Lionesses and they are making use of that right wing, they're going to have to do something to keep them back. But now picking up this yellow so early on in the game does put her in a slightly precarious position going forwards.
Aslani, as ever, taking responsibility for these set pieces. We know all about her quality. What can she deliver for her team here? First chance that London City have had to send their aerial threats forward from the back. Goodwin and Sangare, the obvious targets. Lanari in there too. There is Sangare as it's flicked on for Paris, whose volley was straight at Leipzig.
Oh, that was a textbook moment there. You can see that that's one they've been playing out in the training ground a few times. You know, Aslani once again stepping up in that leadership role. You know she's going to deliver a pin-perfect ball there, but really interesting to see the London City Lionesses players kind of queuing up on the goal line, initially in that offside position, running into an onside position, and then picking up various different positions. But Nikita Paris is going to be very disappointed that she didn't do more with that one.
Striker of Paris's quality. She has scored against Leicester for two different BWSL sides, and her eyes probably lit up here as it came into her path, although perhaps just a bit too close to her body. It's a tough one to adjust for.
I think she just couldn't get enough power on it in that last little moment there. You kind of want to put your foot through it, but you know you've taken it on the side of your foot, and it just didn't generate enough power to trouble the keeper at all. She did well with her positioning there, the keeper.
Paris did score against Leicester City back in 2022 with Manchester United, and 2024 for Brighton and Hove Albion as well. Real legend at this level of football in this country. Only Millie Bright now and Jordan Nobbs have made more appearances in this competition's history than Nikita Paris. And given that Nobbs is now plying her trades in the BWSL 2, you would imagine Paris will at least get to 2 in the overall rankings. It remains to be seen what happens with Millie Bright, of course, at Chelsea and her future there.
I think Nikita Paris is one of those super experienced players. I mean, she brings that to the London City squad. You can see the confidence that she brings up front. I think she's been a massive part of why they've done so well this season. You know, having that WSL experience, and you know, from the pro leagues across the world as well. I think Michelle Kang's, you know, what she's done with the squad, with the investment, has been incredible. And you know, people were expecting big things, and they've delivered this year. You know, being 6th in the table at this point in your very first season is nothing short of incredible. I remember from my days with Spurs, you know, we would have dreamed of a position like this, and we spent most of our time in about 8th or 9th position, and that was good for us because it was our first time out in you know, the top league.
Ironically, it is Spurs who are currently sat directly above them. Of course, their showdown still to come this afternoon against Manchester United. At least one of those two sides will drop points. Fernandez.
You can hear the crowd there, willing Leicester City to go on and chase that ball down. But I think that's the thing when you have those high presses at the start of the games. It's whether you can sustain it, and you might need to go in waves or periods of doing that. But it does feel like they've kind of taken their foot off the gas a little bit more, and you can see London City Lionesses starting to creep in, build up those percentage points in terms of possession, and create those chances that we've just seen there with Nikita Paris.
But they are always dangerous on the transition, Leicester. Here's Van Egmond going for goal, and that one's going to be catching practice for Letter in between the sticks for London City.
I mean, I did say I did rate the ambition of a long-range effort, but I think that was slightly too ambitious, that one.
Probably better options for Emily Van Egmond. Started all but 2 of the BWSL games for Leicester since moving from Birmingham over the summer. She did actually score against London City Lionesses for Birmingham on the final day of the second-tier campaign last time out. The 2-2 draw as London City Lionesses held off Blues to secure promotion. Here's Kane. Ali, always the outball. O'Brien asking a bit too much of her there. Imran. What a lovely pass into the channel that is. All of a sudden, though, Leicester are back in their defensive structure.
I think it was a little bit of a shame there. It felt like Nikita Parris was in a really great situation to drive there, try and take on the players. But I think there was a little bit of experience there, waiting for for the cavalry to come in for London City Lionesses. But now it's created a bit more of a stalemate that we're seeing in this midfield, where the players are kind of trying to get the ball. Everyone's been a little bit too cagey, but I want to see someone make a really solid first move.
You can see just how well drilled Rick Passmore has these Leicester City players. They all know their roles. As soon as they do lose possession, they are straight back into protecting that back line. So well weighted, that pass. Head down and on the move. Off goes Yana Fernandez, but again shown straight back to her centre-backs once more. Despite the possession that London City Lionesses have had, Leicester City have had the majority of the shots, albeit two of them have come from a long way out. They're on the move again down that left-hand side, but O'Brien struggles to reach that one.
It does feel a little bit more even than the stats suggest, and I think for Leicester City it's about taking those opportunities and making that right decision. I mean, when we talked about the Emily Van Egmond pass a few moments ago, she sort of lofted the ball in, but you could see Kane and O'Brien kind of running in there trying to look for that pass. But yeah, it does feel a little bit like a flatness has crept in.
Leicester were trying to pin London City back there. They're having a bit more success. There's Keys. Thibaut's delivery. O'Brien it is who's down inside the penalty area. No indication of a foul. To be fair, she's not asking for a decision to be made. Only West Ham United have conceded more goals than Leicester in the BWSL this term. So far, though, they are looking incredibly organised and they're making it very difficult for London City to play through them. Well, that's a good switch of play by Linari.
I think, like you said there, Leicester are doing very well to kind of condense those areas that London City like to play in, but they are still finding a little bit of luck there on the wings when they're transitioning and passing more quickly. But I think there's a slowness in London City Lionesses, and I think they need to capitalise on when they get the ball, driving forwards. And we've seen a couple of opportunities now where Nikita Parris has got the ball, got acres of space in front of her, but has kind of maybe chosen to lay low and to take her foot off the gas, which is slightly disappointing.
Parris leaves it for Gaoro. There's a bit more urgency to this attack. Imran into the penalty area. Options in the box, but that's a brilliant recovery challenge. Got in there in the nick of time. Sari Keys.
What a great opportunity, and I think that's the spiciness of Imran that you really talk about. I mean, she's driven the length of the pitch. I think there was a sort of call there that might have been a penalty, but at the same time, I think that's a fairly good challenge for me. That's she's clearly got the ball. That's what she's gone to, but nothing major for me.
Leipzig goes long, met by Linari, and here's Goodwin with a bit more space now, pulling Kaiman out wide. Loose touch from Ale, invited the pressure from Freya Godfrey on the far side. Couldn't do anything with it, though, the 20-year-olds. She has continued to press, and it's Goodwin to have that first-time effort towards goal. Almost hit the ball into the ground and lacked the direction.
Yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity. She's pressing the ball, she's making it really difficult for Leicester to come out, and she wants to strike that first time. I can completely see that, but she's just fluffed it.
Hannah Kane, meanwhile, on the other end of the pitch, calling for the best of defences from Elena Linari. So Leicester corner, having just had the ball in Janina Leitzig's hands. That's how quickly they can get down the other end of the field. Be out swinging from Hannah Kane. Oh, and it's actually come off the frame of the goal, and Imran couldn't sort her feet out, so it will be another Leicester City corner.
I can see what she's trying to do there at the front post, and I think the keeper just about had it covered.
This one much lower, driven towards the edge of the penalty area. McLaughlin will fire this one back into the penalty area, and Leicester came a long way from her goal. Did just enough there, the Spaniards, to take it off the awaiting Leicester City heads.
Good goalkeeping there from Leicester. I think that shows, you know, real bravery coming out through that sea of bodies. It's not easy to do, and I think, you know, it looks like she was just off balance there as well, but she managed to get just enough off it to prevent that header. But yeah, again, punched into a slightly dangerous area, so I think she was a lucky little. Kyman
there with some last-ditch defending. Keys as well, capitalising on that one and trying to look into the channel for Sam Tierney. It's been a very strangely paced game, this one.
It goes through bursts, I think, of kind of being quite transitional. You know, Leicester getting their chances, London City Lionesses getting their chances. No clear-cut chances, I'd say, so far, but a lot of the ball is being played in this midfield area, but they're both being very patient. I think there's a caginess I'm seeing to both sides so far.
Paris with a quick check over to the official on that far side to make sure she hadn't strayed offside, and then uses her body well against Tierney to win her side the throw-in. Goodwin clutching her face. That is a head injury, so we will hold up play here with referee Mel Bergen. It's a collision with Julie Thibault.
Slightly unfortunate there. Looks like they've both just had a bit of a tussle, and there's been arms fraying, and it looks like it might have hit Goodwin, the side of Goodwin's face there. But it's good to see that challenge. They both want the ball. They're both trying to do their absolute best to get involved in that. So it looks like they're both okay though.
Now Linari pushed a long way up, and she's left a bit of space behind. The Kumagai is frantically trying to cover as Leicester work this to the left-hand side. O'Brien. 4 to aim for in the middle. She goes back for McLaughlin, and now there's Julie Thibault. Tierney. Keys up there on the right-hand side as well. It's her ball, which is inviting. Jana Fernandez with some brilliant defending there at the far post. She did get a shove for her troubles, and the offside flag had already gone up. She wasn't to know that. Very good defensive header. That
was a great floated ball in, and that's the kind of danger area that keepers absolutely hate. It's that kind of half space where you don't know whether to come out or to stay put, and I think you've got to give massive credit there to Fernandez. That's a great defensive header. She knows exactly where the danger is going to be, and yeah, to get that clear, despite it being an offside, is yeah, credit to her for reading that.
Someone who was, of course, educated at Barcelona. She actually has been speaking recently, Jana Fernandez, about how she had to leave Barcelona much earlier than she expected due to these salary limits. But she has found her home at London City Lionesses. Also helps to have fellow London expats from Barcelona, the likes of Walsh, Bronze, Cadena, Caldente, and of course Maria Perez, who's on the bench for London City this afternoon. Here she is again. Excellently timed challenge. That's where Leicester City just need to be more patient.
I think it's that we've seen a couple of opportunities there where Leicester City could have made more advantage of, having the break and getting London City Lionesses on the back foot, but it just feels a little bit of a laziness sort of creeping in, a bit of a sluggishness to play a ball out that wasn't really going to go anywhere. And I think it's a shame then you've created such a good moment where you're back in possession, and then to give it away so easily, it feels like you have to start all over again.
Although this is their first BWSL meeting, it is the 5th time that these two sides have faced each other. London City have won in 2 of the 3 league meetings in BWSL 2. In fact, the home side has always won whenever they've met in the league. The last time out was actually earlier in this campaign in the Subway Women's League Cup. Leicester City winning by a 1-0 in the capital back in October. Worth pointing out that Leicester do actually have a pretty good record against newly promoted opposition. They've won each of their first 4 in the BWSL against those newly promoted sides. However, they were the only team last season to not beat Crystal Palace. A bit of a mixed bag. I think Rick Passmore will be relatively pleased with how his side have settled into this game and have restricted London City's attacking prowess.
There hasn't been a lot of clear-cut chances there for London City Lionesses, and sort of, if you summarise the sort of first half, it looks very, a lot of the balls are played in the midfield, and you've only really got that chance from Nikita Paris, which was quite a soft one, straight at the goalkeeper. And I think, you look at where the action is taking place, 42% there in the mid area, and 19% is a great credit to Leicester for kind of limiting, what's going on in their own box. So yeah, it's been cagey, but I think this is what you want. You want to shore up the back line, and you want to make sure that you set your foundations going into 2026, and they're doing a good job of it so far.
Gaoro to Paris. Still time for one of these two sides to nudge their noses in front going into the interval. It has been a game so far. It's yet to kick into life.
It does feel like it's one of those games you're not quite sure how it's going to go. It could pounce on any moment, and it feels like it's one of those, where it's just going to be a mistake from someone, a sloppy error of some sort that's going to lead to that first goal. And at this stage, I really couldn't call it. I think one thing I would say about Leicester City in these situations is that they are actually learning a lot from the game as it's going along, and I think they're developing that. So, just on that right-hand side there.
Here's Paris looking to pounce. Oh, it's been taken over by Aslani, whose shot was charged down. There's Gaoro. Godfrey still waiting for it. Fernandez drives it back in, and that is as close a sight of goal as Izzy Goodwin has had.
That is a huge missed opportunity there, and you see Nikita Paris has done so well. She's driven into that. That's a great ball in, and then you've got that chance with Aslani. Absolutely great block there. Gaoro's got on the ball. You think she's going to fire off a shot, and then that last ball just splashing across goal there. Missy Goodwin inches away from just getting a knee, a toe, a foot on the end of that, and that would have been turned into goal. That's an awful missed opportunity, and straight before the end of the first half as well. That's exactly when you want to score.
I'm wondering if it's better to have a chance like that just before the interval, or whether it's better earlier on in the game just to try to kick-start some momentum, or whether it does actually give Jocelyn Préchaud something positive to cling on to in his half-time team talk.
I'd always say at the end of the first half is a great position to go in 1-0 up, and it's, you know, there is still a slight little bit of risk there that Leicester City do get that goal back, but I think it just gives you that foundation, that positivity to go into the changing room with.
It's a clever ball by Van Egmond, well read by Sangare. We've had our 45 minutes. There will just be 1 minute added on. Off goes Fernandez, motoring along down that right-hand side.
Like I said, it does feel like Leicester are learning from the London City strategy here. That right-hand side does seem to be still paying off a little bit, but they are getting wise to definitely staying close to players and making sure they don't have enough time to pass that ball there. This feels like a very dangerous time for an Asllani free kick.
And if there is one player that you want stood over this one, it is Kosavari Asllani. Scored London City Lionesses' first ever BWSL goal from a set piece, a penalty. Now can she turn provider? 6 to aim for at that far post. Now they make their move. Asllani's delivery not completely cleared. Fernandez waiting for it to drop. Well, New Year may be around the corner, but there are no fireworks just yet.
Chances have been far and few between, but I think, you know, as a manager, I'd be saying, you know, go in. It's the last game of 2025 in the WSL. Go and make a name for yourself. For London City Lionesses especially, they're in 6, but, you know, this is the kind of game they want to pick up those points from. You know, these are the games when you're playing those lower league teams that, you know, you really want to kind of make sure that you're getting as many points as you can, because when you're facing that tougher opposition, those points aren't always guaranteed. So for London City Lionesses, they need to go out, they need to stop waiting at the back, they need to stop the patient. For Leicester, I think defensively they've been absolutely solid. They know the areas of attack that London City are going to go at, and they've really shored those up. But for me, it's taking them making the right decisions, I think, when they get those opportunities, and looking up, seeing who's getting into space and making the most of that.
We did see them towards the end of the first half, Leicester City, with a couple of corners, and they've got one right at the start of the second, delivered by Kane, up towards Keys, and the chance drops for Bourret. And what an introduction that would have been, her first touch since coming on. Denied at that far post, still danger not yet cleared by London City. There's 4, it eventually goes out for a throw-in. Well, goodness me, Leicester called into action again, sparing her team's blushes.
That was a great reactive save there, and the ball bounced really unfavourably just before it hit the goal line there. So she did well to react off that and move her body position to make sure that she clawed that out. And it was obviously in quite a dangerous area she did that. So credit to the London City back line there for clearing that danger away. But great start from Leicester there. Maybe
it was naive from us to assume, just by the league positions, it would be London City looking to force the issue right at the start of this second half. Leicester City have come out flying and, of course, let her into action once more.
I think you look there at how quickly she has to react to that ball coming in. I think, you know, she's moving off to the right hand side, but having to adjust her body position so quickly there to get that really strong hand to that strike. So yeah, she'll be really pleased with that. And I always love it at the start of a half when you get a really good save as a goalkeeper, that it builds your confidence and it makes you feel a little bit unstoppable, which won't help London City Lionesses, but definitely will for Leicester.
It is a confidence position, isn't it, being a goalkeeper?
Oh, definitely. It's you know, you're the villain sometimes when things go drastically wrong, and you're the hero on other days. So yeah, so far the Letters been putting in a very good account of herself. So yeah, she's not been called into action often, but when she has, she really has pulled out all the stops. So yeah, and it's not an easy game. It's very cold at the back when there's not lots to be doing, and you know you have to be alert in all of those moments, and she has done exactly that.
Statistically this season, save percentage hasn't been kind to her. Only 3 goalkeepers do have a lower save percentage than she does. Well, you wouldn't know it based on today's performance. She does, of course, rank really highly for passes and completion rates out from the back, as we've seen on a couple of occasions. Her picking out Rafiat Umaran on the left-hand side. Sangare. Fernandez, space to run into here. Goodwin was on the move, she delayed the pass, Fernandez. She got a bit of a knock as well from the challenge, just on the edge of the Leicester City penalty area.
Seeing a bit of a template there in the sense of the first half, with Fernandez driving into space, the Leicester City players kind of dropping off a little bit and allowing her to do that until they fully engage. I mean, they have to engage at some point before she gets to the edge of the box, but I think Leicester need to do that higher up the pitch to stop those opportunities becoming more dangerous attacks.
Aslani back for Fernandez, and now Aslani again. And Godfrey can't keep it in play. What we're hoping for in this second 45 minutes, Chloe, is a bit of a tightening up by both teams. I'm sure Jocelyn Preyshaw would have been onto his side about pass completion and just making sure that they're not wasteful, but also tempo.
I think it's the intensity that I want to see more from London City Lionesses. They've had such an aggressive start in the league. You know, they've taken points off of teams that they really weren't expecting to. They've done so much better than anyone could have anticipated in their, their debut season. But in this game, and I don't know whether it's, we're coming towards the back end of 2025, the Christmas break is just upon us. They've done so well that you think, you can't get complacent in these moments, though. You have to finish out the end of a half a season super, super strong, put yourself in the best possible position. This was a team that some people picked, thought they could even get one of those Champions League spots, and if you want to stay in the game and be looking to kind of beat that opposition, you have to have that mentality throughout the entire season. You can't be dropping off now, especially when there's a golden opportunity here to beat a side that hasn't picked up many points this season.
They do return after the winter break, London City, to face the bottom of the table, Liverpool, away in their opening game of 2026. But then the big test comes when they host Manchester City at the end of the month. You think, even with the break, games like this would perhaps be used to build some momentum. Speaking of which, they are carrying a bit of that on the left-hand side as they come forward with Imran.
I definitely want to see more of that from Imran, kind of breaking loose, going on that left-hand side. It feels like Jocelyn's kind of given her that freedom to really push up and create those chances. I think what I'm kind of getting a little bit frustrated with London City Lionesses is this kind of propensity towards playing the ball out from the back to kind of passing to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. I want to see more intensity. I want to see directness from them a lot more, and Imran is doing that for them.
Here she is again. Crossing chance if she can get there ahead of the ball rolling out of play, which she can't. I suppose as well, Chloe, when you look at the players through the middle, it is a bit of a surprise that they have been so reliant on the left-hand side. You've got the likes of Gayoro, Aslani, Kumagai as well, who can all pass and play through the lines, but it's out to that left-hand side where they keep looking to go.
100%, but you look at the stats there from Imran, and you look at the work rate that she's doing on both half of the pitch. She's a defensive player, but she's also driving well up into those positions and helping out the attacking line too. And I think that's what I really love to see from her, because it's that versatility that we talked about with these players coming in, understanding their roles, but also managers being able to give them the freedom to do that and making sure that your teammates are covering you when you do drive forwards. And we have seen that from London City Lionesses, to be fair, but I definitely want to see her get on the ball more, because it feels like there's an excitement that builds when she does that, and that's what London City Lionesses need right now.
It's her first BWSL season. She does have a top-level experience in France for their former side Rem. Guerrero's pass intercepted on its way through, and Leicester go much more direct, but the offside flag up against Shannon O'Brien, who did finish that brilliantly without even breaking a stride. And now the pantomime boos ring out. It is that season after all.
That was an incredible effort. I know it was obviously offside, but you've got to give credit to the strike and the technique and the precision there that she adopted. And I think she was just marginally offside, which I think is why you've got those boos there for Leicester.
Paris. Sangare. Loose from Paris. O'Brien nips in. All a little untidy in the midfield.
Well, I think this is the intensity that I was talking about. They're playing across the back line. They're doing that sort of fairly comfortably, but then they kind of become a little bit complacent. They're spending too much time on the ball, which is allowing Leicester City to really press them and win that ball back, which is what we've just seen there with Guerrero.
And McLaughlin finding Hannah Kane. A real opportunity this for Leicester. Stinging the palms of Leicester once again. She was in acres of space on that right-hand side, Hannah Kane. Can they respond, London City? Goodwin's ball was looking for Aslani. It'll be picked up by Imran. And here's Kumagai. Passes up the opportunity for a shot. Instead, it's Fernandez. It was always rising. It was a venomous strike looking towards that top corner.
Absolutely two great efforts there from both sides. I mean, I absolutely rate Fernandez. They're giving it the opportunity. It looked like it was just about to maybe dip just below the crossbar, and I think super unlucky. And Hannah Kane moments before driving into that box, being super direct. I mean, that is a really difficult angle, and Leicesters obviously got it covered there, but directly at her, I think doesn't test her as a keeper. I think, you know, driving that ball on the floor, trying to get that bottom corner in the far right. I know there's a lot of technique involved in that moment, but you've really got to be testing the keeper a little bit more, or cutting back to allow another player to take in that opportunity.
It's the third time that the 23-year-old London City Lionesses goalkeeper has been tested, and for the third time she's come out on top. Here's Godfrey, trying to force the issue by bundling her way through. She got past Asmita Ale. O'Brien tussling and tangling with Kosvari Aslani.
She did well there to get the team out of danger. I think she was sort of drawing the foul there, so I think it's quite a tactical one there. She was definitely allowing herself too much time on the ball. She knew that she was going to draw that foul in, and it's a good one to relieve the pressure from the Leicester back line.
She has been such an important player for Rick Passmore. Shannon O'Brien, her equaliser against West Ham United. The 97th minute, secured just the 5th point of the season with a 1-1 draw. And that was their last point in this competition 3 games ago. Since then, it's been a 4-1 defeat at Brighton, a 3-0 home defeat against Manchester City. They're holding London City Lionesses here.
I think once again it feels like another situation that the London City Lionesses have spent too much time on the ball in their own half, and I think, you know, driving forward has caused so much success, especially on the wings. And, you know, if you are going to take that time on the ball, then Leicester will press, and, you know, we're starting to see a couple of frustrated tackles eke into the game now.
Leipzig inviting the pressure from Goodwin. Took a bit of a risk there, the German in goal.
Even I felt a little bit nervous about that one. I think there's a time and a place to allow the attacker to run on. I think sometimes you just got to clear your lines. But I do think there's a little bit of difficulty there, in that the sun seems to be in her eyes a little bit longer. So maybe not necessarily as aware of the threat as she otherwise would have been.
City Lionesses are readying their first change of this game. Looks as though Lucia Corrales is going to be joining the action. First, her teammates need to defend this ball in by Kane. Headed clear, and Gaoro will tidy things up, but again, very much at her own pace. Lenari to Letter. Just pumps that one straight back to Leicester. It makes you wonder what the point is with the short passing inside the 6-yard box anyway, if that's going to be the solution as it's headed down. And this is a real chance here for Shannon O'Brien, who does force it over the line. And how often has she been their saviour already this season? It's her third goal in her last 4 WSL games. It was an opportunistic moment, but she was the fox in the box for Leicester.
She absolutely deserved that. I feel like she's been the player that's been doing the absolute most there. What a great little celebration, holding the boot to her head there for a phone call. But really great build-up play there from Leicester. She's taken her head up, she's lifted, seen when that pass is. A great little header on for Asali, and then having that scrappy little finish. Like, she's done the absolute most, and that's quintessential O'Brien. She's got the job done there, and that's absolutely phenomenal. She's been in the right place at the right time, and not even Leicester or the 2 defenders could stop her scoring there. So yeah, really great effort from O'Brien. It's scrappy. It's not the most attractive of goals, but it's got the job done. So Rick Passmore's got to be quite happy with this start to the second half.
Well, they've had the majority of the shots. They haven't had anywhere near as much of the ball as London City, but they've kept them at bay. They've kept them at arm's length, really. Leicester City. It's been very comfortable for them defensively, and they were clinical when finishing there. Not had too many chances. This game still yet to fully burst into life. But the hosts take a bit of a surprise lead against the side 9 points ahead of them, ahead of kick-off here in the BWSL.
I think this is what I've been saying in sort of the recent few minutes, is that, you know, London City have been super complacent in possession, especially around that kind of like mid to their third. And I think that was one of those opportunities that, you know, Leicester City could see that was happening. They could see that they could make a move. They could see that they could pounce on an opportunity. And to be fair to them, they did just that. Super clinical.
Godfrey looking to hit back instantly. And again, it was Celeste Beret in her way. So London City do get a corner kick here. Correct me if I'm wrong, this may be their first of the game. An hour on the clock. Aslani across to take this one. It is going to be out swinging. They have 5 queuing up on the edge of the penalty area, London City. And perhaps now there is a bit more urgency in their play. Short it goes for Gaoro. Aslani back on side. Can prod that one in field for Paris, who's dispossessed by Thibaut. Who wins the second challenge as well, but has lost out to Gaoro. Paris's delivery.
That corner there felt like such a wasted opportunity. You've got players on the edge of the box ready to run in to get a seriously pinpoint delivery there from Aslani, but instead she plays it out long, and then it kind of the flatness kind of ekes in again, and you want to be seeing her whip that ball in straight away to kind of create and maintain that pressure, but yeah, it just fell flat and it didn't pay off.
Now this is an interesting change given just how much she's been used in this first half. Rafia Imran making way for Lucia Corrales. I imagine that will be a like-for-like change on the left side of defence. And then the other player coming on for her BWSL debut, Issa Cardinal, signed from Ajax. 20-year-old Dutch defender replacing Elena Lenari. It's not often that a team responds to going a goal behind by making 2 defensive changes. So you would imagine perhaps they were premeditated or perhaps forced.
I agree. I'm not too sure that I understand the tactical reason behind that one. I think slightly disappointed there that Imran's come off. I thought that she was London City's Lionesses' best player. I thought she provided so much in terms of that attacking outlet and driving forwards. But it remains to be seen. Maybe I'm not seeing something that Jocelyn's seeing on the pitch. So yeah, I'll be eating my words, no doubt. Maybe.
Well, Corrales did make her name in her native Spain as much more of an attacking player. She started first half of this season playing 4 of the opening 5 WSL games right from the start as a fullback. She has missed the last 4 games in this competition. In fact, her last appearance came right at the start of November against Chelsea. She is being deployed on the left side of this back 4 now. Lots of pace going forward, but I echo Chloe's sentiments there that it is a surprise to see Imran leave the pitch when she was so adventurous on that left-hand side, although it's Corrales who's on her bike here and looking to get on the end of the receiving pass. But it is Janina Leitzig sliding out to get there ahead of her.
Yeah, she did well there, like I said, to read that play. She could see that the ball was coming in. It was slow enough for her to get out and quash the danger there. But yeah, like you said, really disappointed with not seeing Imran, especially so early in the second half as well. I could maybe understand the decision later on. You know, you get to the 80th minute and legs are tired, where she's been doing so much running defensively and also in the attacking third as well. But yeah, it remains to be seen so far.
Here is Cardinal, made her name in her native Netherlands as a ball-playing defender who can step into midfield, so I suppose don't be too surprised if you see her work her way up the pitch. She's not the type of player to get a nosebleed once she goes further forward than the halfway line. Someone who has been playing senior football since the age of 16. Sangare. Average age, coincidentally, of this London City Lionesses back line now, just 21 years old. They're calling on their more experienced players higher up the pitch, the likes of Paris, Aslani and Gayoro, to try to get them back into this game. Off goes Godfrey, another 20-year-old, crossing it into that near post, and it's off the frame of the goal from Goodwin. And now Fernandez on the follow-up. It was on her weaker side, and it's a wayward strike. But what a big opportunity that was for their leading goal scorer.
Absolutely unreal there from Godfrey, and that's what I was talking about in terms of that direct play there. She's driven that ball across. She's, Leitzig's come out. She's made herself super big. I'm not entirely sure whether she's got a touch on that or not, but it's nicked onto the post. Really good opportunity for there, and the follow-up was good as well. But I think it's that directness that I really want to see from London City Lionesses.
Another change then. Leicester City this time. Olivia McLaughlin leaving the field. And coming back on into WSL action again, Noémie Mouchon. She is their joint top, or was their joint top BWSL scorer this season. That was until Shannon O'Brien edged that one over the line. She's back after missing the last 2 games with an ankle injury. More of an attacking change there. We'll see Van Egmond drop a bit deeper. Partnering Sam Tierney in midfield, allowing Mouchon to support the front line. Here goes O'Brien, tracked every step of the way by Sangare before she commits the foul. No love lost.
I can see the passions rising in this one a little bit, some frustration starting to grow, but I think that's a great head-to-head battle from them. I think there's nothing too wrong with that, apart from maybe just a little bit of frustration eking in that they have to maintain. I mean, O'Brien's been such an amazing force for Leicester, so I think you got to keep those at bay where you can.
A little over 20 minutes for London City to try to find an equaliser. Still, they're happy to take their time and get these passes in without making any major progress beyond this Leicester City back line. And that one has asked the question of Yannis Kaiman. I think as well, when you have a striker like Izzy Goodwin, who is such a physical presence, there is no harm, really, in just sending it forward every now and again and just allowing her to put some pressure on defenders when they're turned and facing their own goal, which is what London City Lionesses are here. Mouchon blocks by Cardinal. She seemed to have the freedom of the king power.
So much space there for her to drive into, and you know, she's picked up that ball, she's stuck her head up, she's looked across to see if there's any opportunities there. She keeps on driving, she's waiting for that right opportunity, and I think it's just a little bit too late there to allow London City to come back and get that block in. But really, really promising from Mouchon there. I think it's that intensity that I've been talking about all game that's starting to creep in.
Another Leicester City corner kick. Their fifth of the game. Hannah Kane once more stood over it. And the Wales international can clip this one in towards that near post. Flick on was from Bure.
You know, with 20 minutes left, I feel like I need to see more from London City Lionesses, more passion, more intensity, more drive to get back on the ball. It looks at the moment like they're quite happy for Leicester to kind of be in possession more, to be running towards their own goal. And I think bar that earlier chance a few moments ago, there hasn't really been much that I'm writing home about at the moment. I can imagine Jocelyn for sure getting a little bit more and more frustrated as the games go on and the minutes creep up.
Still has lots of options on his bench. Seems for now he's happy to let his more senior players try to dig themselves out of the hole, but it's Guioro who has committed the foul there and has allowed Leicester City again to send forward their aerial threats. Bure up there, O'Brien. Thibault joining the action too. Mouchon waits at the far post. In from Kane, it's heading towards that direction for Thibault to attack. Mouchon in a race here with Guioro. And we'll win the free kick too.
Looked to me like a little bit of a shirt tug there. I think both of them may be at fault, but Guioro getting penalised for that one. A nice little tussle between them both. I think on the replay, it doesn't look like there's too much in it there. I think Leicester might have been quite fortunate to get that free kick. I can understand Guioro's frustrations.
She can maybe feel a bit hard done by, but for the second time in less than a minute, she has provided Hannah Kane with a crossing opportunity from a free kick. Leicester already a goal to the goods, and on the front foot here. Mel Bergin will just calm things down between Guioro and Mouchon. And now we're ready to get back underway. Kane driving into the 6-yard box. Bure was arriving a couple of yards behind it, and that's an easy claim for Leicester.
Feels like a couple of missed opportunities there from Leicester to really put their foot on the gas and turn the screw and try and get that second goal to really put the game to bed. I think, you know, two really great free kicks in great areas, really dangerous areas for Leicester, but it kind of feels like they were just sort of lobbying the ball into the box and just hitting and hoping and seeing what the battle in the box would hold up. But I'd like to see a little bit more tactics. I'd like to see a little bit more of a I don't know, a training ground situation. I think a bit more strategy around those.
Cardinal out for Corrales. There's Paris. Corrales had made the underlapping run. She wasn't found. Cardinal can recover possession. Oh, but Sangaré has shown too much of that to Kane. And Mouchon was on the move, and Sangaré had to get a vital toe in. Here's Gaoro finding Paris. Off goes Goodwin, joined by Kaiman. Izzy Goodwin is going to go all the way here. And she is blocked on her way through to goal by Janina Leicester.
I don't want to say I told you so, but I definitely called it at the outset of the game that Leipzig was going to be called into action, and that she has. I think this is a good run from Goodwin. I think she's done so well there to maintain that possession and strength. And you know, at the final quarter, she's just about made it the angle very, very small there, and Leipzig's done well there to cover herself and make sure that they don't get that equaliser.
She is that kind of striker who can create her own opportunities. In comes the corner from Aslani. She'll get a second bite at the cherry here. That one's a bit better, flicked on by Sangaré. And easy for Leipzig.
Looked almost like a half attempt there at a bicycle kick. I didn't know whether she was going to really try and volley that one in and fall to the floor, but alas, it wasn't to be. Easy one there for Leipzig to pick up.
Well defended there by Cardinal. Under pressure from Mouchon. Fernandez. Searching for Goodwin again. That was a vital intervention by Bourret. Here's Kumagai. He's actually had a very quiet game at the base of the London City Lionesses midfield. Hold on to this. Now Rick Passmore knows his side are on course for their first Women's Super League win since September. It has been a long old wait indeed since that match day 2 win over Liverpool. Of course, they've had encouraging performances along the way. They've won 2 of their 3 Subway Women's League Cup games. Draws against Everton, Aston Villa and West Ham United as well. There were signs that the improvement was happening, even though it wasn't reflected by results. But 3 points here would go a long way to confirming that they are indeed on the right track under their manager. They will have to stave off this latest free kick, though. Aslani again. It's a low delivery this time, all too easy for Leicester City to deal with, and they have numbers breaking forward here. Mouchon is going to go alone. Corrales full of energy, having just come off the bench herself, and she backed herself in the race. And she won it.
Mouchon did so well there, picking up the ball. The only thing she was thinking about in that situation was driving forwards, getting herself in that 1v1 situation. Really good defending there to try and put her off, and it was just that last little touch there, just took the ball too far away from her feet there. But I mean, that's what happens when you've got London City Lionesses who are committing so many players forward. You know, it only takes a bad free kick, a bad delivery in, and all of a sudden you're 100% on the back foot and at risk of conceding again. So yeah, it was a disappointing one from Aslani there with the free kick. You know, she could have done so much better in getting that ball over and creating an opportunity to get that equaliser that they desperately need now.
Bourret brings it down. Here's Sari Keys. Lovely touch around the corner from Sam Tierney. Cardinal winning possession high up the pitch, winning a free kick in Leicester territory. I do wonder with the breakaway there, the counter-attack attempt, whether Hannah Kane actually made up Noémie Mouchon's decision for her. But she's off again. Stays onside, Hannah Kane. Options in the middle, what a great ball that was. And it was just ahead of Shannon O'Brien, still not cleared, it's Mouchon. Fernandez in the way this time. London City and odds and ends at the back.
Absolutely fallen apart there. I think if I was Jocelyn right now, I would not be happy with what I've just seen. You know, we've got two situations there. We've got both of those situations coming from loose balls at the back, and you think about the opportunities there that Leicester haven't pounced on. But it was even once they got the ball back literally on the penalty spot, there was no clearance at all. A lack of communication, a lack of discipline, a lack of leadership has led to this situation happening. And you know, you've got two Leicester City players there rolling in, but in this situation, clear the ball, clear your lines, and you've created another chance for Mouchon to have that shot. And yes, great defending there, blocking that shot, but that shouldn't be happening in the first place for me. That's 100% warning signs for me.
Living dangerously at the back, and Mouchon perhaps will feel as though she should have done better there. Two goals already in her debut BWSL campaign. Still there remains just one goal in this contest. Given away again, it's so sloppy from London City. Mouchon making good progress. That was until it was halted by Massa Sangare.
The opportunities for Leicester to really bed down and get this second goal are ramping up, and you know, London City Lionesses don't seem to be that worried at all. There seems to be a real complacency in the way they're playing. Once they've got the ball, they're keeping hold of it, and that's what's leading to them being dispossessed. They're just too comfortable in possession without passing it on and driving it forward.
Looking to change that, it's Kumagai. Forcing Corrales slightly further wide than she would have liked, but it was an enticing cross into the box. And Kumagai will be pulled up there for the collision with Sam Tierney. Thibault requires a bit of medical assistance on the field. London City readying two changes here. Julia Roda and Katie Zellen will be coming on. Again, Proshaw turning to experience in his ranks.
I think that's what you need sometimes. You need, you know, experienced players who have been in difficult situations to really grasp a hold of the game, you know, rally the team together, get them together and start saying, look, this can't happen anymore. We've already had 4 clear chances here where Leicester could have got that second goal. So I think Katie Zellum in particular, such a good leader. You know, what she did for Manchester United was nothing short of incredible, and taking them into the WSL 1. And you look at kind of the experience that she's had. She really needs to rally these players, get a hold of them and make sure this game doesn't go further down for them.
Well, neither of them are natural goal scorers. They will carry that influence and perhaps a bit more adventure. So, Saki Kumagai coming off to be replaced by Katie Zellum. And Freya Godfrey leaving the fields with Julia Roda coming on in her place.
You can already see there Katie Zellum shouting directions at the other players, telling them what to do, trying to organise that situation.
Julia Roda, coincidentally, is one of Freyshaw's more trusted deputies on the pitch. She's actually his most used sub in the WSL this season. It's her 11th appearance of the campaign. She's featured in every single game. 10 of those have come from the bench. Katie Zellum is one of just 2 players in the London City Lionesses squad to have actually scored a goal against Leicester City. It is now about 3 years since that brace she scored for Manchester United against the Foxes.
Never say never.
Into the final 10. I don't even think at this stage it's a case of Leicester desperately holding on to this 1-goal advantage. They've looked the more likely to add to the scoreline.
I think that's the thing. You would expect in the last 10 minutes of the game that maybe the intensity would ramp up, the pressure obviously grows. You know, what they need to do in this game is going to get more intensified as the minutes tick away. But I haven't seen too much of that from London City Lionesses. The panic hasn't crept in for me yet.
Corrales, really nice close control on that far side, and the ball in was good too. Rodar was waiting to meet that on the volley, were it not for Ale's header at that far post.
Just as I spoke there was a great opportunity. What are the odds?
Smart defending by the wing-back. Didn't know where the London City Lionesses were. As Lani's ball left a lot to be desired. Goodwin fizzing that one across the face of the penalty area. Ale with plenty of time to assess her options and clear her lines. And there's Shannon O'Brien again. Mouchon on the move on the right-hand side. Hannah Kane had a bit of space on the left. The ball isn't able to reach her. Instead, it's Goodwin who's powering through the middle, and Leicester City get a bit fortunate there with the ricochet.
Not too sure what happened there, but it looked like a collision of both Leicester players. But either way, the ball fell very favourably there for Leipzig. Another opportunity stopped. But this is what I want to see more of with London City Lionesses. I want to see them, you know, driving those ball forwards, trying to get Aslani on the ball, trying to get Goodwin on the ball, because they're the players that could pull out the backfield in the last 5 minutes of the game. But unfortunate on this attempt, but much more of that is needed in the last five or 6 minutes.
It's quite a hefty collision, that one, between Yanis Kaiman and Celeste Beret. Rick Passmore doesn't seem too concerned.
I'd say O'Brien.
Corrales. Cardinal. Now Zellum looking to get involved since coming on. Corrales able to drift in field. She's just lacking movement ahead of her. And again, O'Brien will pounce. Mouchon. Beaten to it by Cardinal. And here's Gayoro. Space to roam into. Goodwin ahead of her. That is where it goes. Aslani arriving late. Rodar in the area as well. Nikita Paris now on the edge of the box. But Leicester City once more back in their numbers, forming an effective blue shield for Janina Leitzig's goal. And it was a rushed ball in by Fernandez in the end. And that is just going to add to the frustration, which is creeping in by the second on the touchline.
I think that kind of passes of play there is definitely more that I want to see from London City. And, you know, Gayoro, as soon as she picked up that ball, she drove forward on that left wing, kind of created that chance. But it is that directness that I think has been lacking. I think it's the passion as well. I think, you know, Jocelyn there, the frustration starting to show, the minutes ebbing away. And, you know, I really wanted to see, you know, London City grab a hold of this game and try and find the equaliser. But in my heart of hearts, I'm not entirely sure that's going to be coming today.
Sangare has had so many touches on the ball. Fernandez. Smita Ale has quietly had a really, really good game at wing-back. Done everything asked of her. Corrales. Oh, it was Paris who was climbing. It may still sit for her. Desperate defending there by Leicester City. Was there a handball? Advantage is played. But there was a head injury, and that one there is going to really annoy the London City Lionesses players who had packed Leicester City's box.
Really, really unfortunate time in there. I think, you know, London City Lionesses were so close to delivering that ball into a very dangerous area, but you've always got to give priority to suspected head injuries, and that did look like a genuine situation that the referee had to deal with. But great credit there to the Leicester City crew there trying to defend that. The emergency block in there, amazing, but you can see that she sustains that head injury with the ball hitting her face in that block.
Nikita Paris has had two real opportunities for the visitors on her 203rd BWSL appearance. You can see from the shake of the head there her disappointment and not being able to get the better of Janina Leipzig. There's the instruction. Urge calm, urge caution, and just sit back where you can. O'Brien's back to her feet, so that's a good sign for Rick Passmore.
It's the last few minutes of the game now, and I think Rick Passmore has kind of said, you know, keep calm under this pressure. You know, we're minutes away from getting this win. Like minutes away from you know, understanding that this is one of the, you know, a really great moment in them to finish on a high in the 2025 season. But
well, Chloe, it is time for you to select your Barclays Player of the Match. Who are you going for?
I've got to give it to O'Brien. I think she's been absolutely phenomenal. I think her work rate has been absolutely great. She's been up and down the pitch. She's been trying to make the absolute moment. But this is absolutely incredible from her. It's quintessential O'Brien, trying to get into these positions. She's been in this place. There's a lovely ball in there from Ali and getting that goal. Super scrappy, but it just shows that dedication that she's had to try and get that Leicester City winner. And it looks like that could be the winning moment for Leicester. And what an amazing way to end 2025 for them. So yeah, massive congratulations to O'Brien. I think she's been great.
I think we've actually probably done her a disservice there as well, Chloe. The close control inside the box, under pressure, being able to use her body shape to hold off the challenges and then just protect the ball as it very slowly trickled over the line. It is a really well-taken opportunity by a player who is in great form at the moment. Still just 24 years old, full of energy, a very high ceiling as well, Shannon O'Brien. And she is finding her feet this season as we head into 2026. 8 minutes there will be added on at the end of this game. Now this is a real test here of Leicester's nerves. It's been a long 3 months since their last WSL win. Important for them to not invite the pressure from London City Lionesses. Just stick to what they've been doing for the first 90 minutes of this game. Roda. Finding Zellem. Out-muscled by Mouchon. Corrales. Manages to ride the challenge initially, and then it's Van Egmond who gets that one away. Well placed to clear.
This is when the mentality of teams is really tested. You've got London City Lionesses now who look like that 8-minute board has seemed to have triggered a really good intensity response from them. So that's lovely to see. But equally, Leicester have to make sure they're doing all the right things, as you said before. They've been so strong defensively, and they need to maintain that and not let those opportunities creep in, especially on those wings as we're seeing now.
Corrales. So pacey. What a very nearly a very good cross that. Yana Fernandez, the wing-back on the opposite flank, actually ended up challenging inside the 6-yard box. Izzy Goodwin too.
Really great cross in there, but you can see there that Leicester has been taken out slightly, probably a little bit of a dead leg as she's been clattered into there. But it just goes to show you now the London City Lionesses players are literally throwing themselves at the ball, trying to get that equaliser, and this is what I would have liked to have seen from them a lot earlier in the game.
Janina Leipzig hoping to keep just their second BWSL clean sheet of the season. She's been good value for it. She may well be sore tomorrow morning as well. Corrales finding Paris, able to turn and bring Gayoro into play. Looking for Yana Fernandez, who again is one of the furthest players forward in a London City Lionesses shirt.
I think in these situations you need Leicester not to panic as well. I think, you know, there is still 6 minutes left to play, but it's going to be a very long 6 minutes if you just keep booting the ball away and not trying to play yourself out of danger. And I think possession is always going to be key. If you're trying to build out, you're trying to drive the ball up and make sure this doesn't happen.
Aslani it was who was looking to get on the end of that long ball. Again though, excellently marshalled by Celeste Bouret.
Leicester look very, very comfortable off possession at the moment, but I think they need to still try and win that ball back and make sure that London City Lionesses don't push forward as they're starting to now. I think, again, I need that intensity from London City Lionesses. There's too much of this passing between the back lines, and time is ticking away.
Much better there, asking the question of Bouret, who responds. Just over 3 minutes remaining of this game. And Leicester City will try to run that clock down a bit more. Hannah Kane and Shannon O'Brien both leaving the fields. They have worked their socks off for their side today. And it's a warm welcome back to action for Missy Goodwin. And also a final few minutes here for Rosella Ayan. Joined on a free on a one-year deal. It is the 6th game in a row in which she has come on as a substitute late on to see things out or to try to impact the game.
She's definitely a runner, Ayan. She's you know, an amazing player. She's got the stamina, she's got the legs, and I think, you know, Leicester City should be looking to get the ball to her so she can drive up the field and try and create less dangerous situations for them.
Oh, this is interesting. London City Lionesses have a penalty. Grace Gayoro went to ground under the challenge of Yanis Kaiman, who pleads her innocence. But the decision has been made, and what a big decision it is by Mel Bergin. Leicester City looked so comfortable, heading towards just their 2nd BWSL win of the season. But then this happened.
Such an unfortunate incident there, and it doesn't look like there's too much on it for me in terms of Kaiman's leg. I think she's tried to win that. I think it's more of her body that's pushed Gayoro off the ball rather than being any kind of malice in that at all. And you can see there how devastated she is. They're moments away from getting that win, but yeah, that's such a disappointing thing to have happened at this stage in the game. It looks like Gayoro should be okay, but she's just getting that treatment there. But I can't imagine how Kaiman must be feeling right now.
The captain visibly distraught and furious with herself. Gayoro just quickest to the ball. Belgium's all-time leading appearance maker had committed. And when you commit like that inside the penalty area, you need to get there first. And now she needs a favour from Janina Leipzig. Be interesting to see who takes this penalty. London City have had 2 this season. Aslani took the first. It was Linari who took the second. That one was deep into stoppage time against Liverpool, as London City picked up a win there. This is to salvage a point against Leicester City, and it looks as though it will be the captain, Kosovari Aslani, to step up. A chance for her to net her 3rd Women's Super League goal of the season. And a chance for Janina Leipzig to be the hero ahead of Christmas.
It's amazing how much this moment means for Leicester City. It's the difference essentially between those additional 2 points they would get, or that 1 point that they'll see going into 2026, and it means so much in terms of their positioning and how safe they are for the rest of the season. So this moment can't be underestimated.
Aslani representing everything that London City Lionesses stand for. She is their talisman. All of the pressure on her shoulders. We've had our 8 minutes added on. This will surely be one of the last kicks of the game. Aslani up against Leipzig, and Leipzig saves! And just listen to it inside King Power. Pandemonium in the stands. Leipzig won Leicester City their 2nd game of this Barclays Women's Super League season. Key stumps it out of play. And Aslani, wow, she's left to reflect on a big opportunity missed.
Such a pivotal moment for her to have converted that, and I think it's such a poor penalty. You know, it bobbles on the floor. There's not enough pace behind it. I think there, and you know, they couldn't have capitalised on a better moment. You've got the keeper with the sun in her eyes, last minute of the game, and they've squandered that chance. So this is if it stays the way it is, I think it's well deserved.
Ayan can just bring this one away from danger. She's happy to keep the seconds ticking down. Leicester City, well, they flirted with danger there. They've come out the other side, and this will be a big result. It will be a party atmosphere as we head into the festive season for them. It's not just 3 points, it's a reward for their hard work. And the way in which they've done it here, with Janina Leipzig standing tall. Well, that is going to make it feel even sweeter if they can hold on. We're up to our 100th minute here in Leicester, and still London City Lionesses come forward. Mel Bergin yet to reach for her whistle. Mouchon beaten to it by Sangare.
Done so well there to ride down those minutes and make sure that the team is as safe as they can possibly be going into these last final few seconds. But this is incredible from Leicester. What a strange turn of events towards the end of the game.
Headed away by Bourret. Surely we can't have much longer here. London City Lionesses will be invited to have one more attack. Sangare. Aslani, edge of the penalty area, allowed to turn. She felt as though she was fouled. They've done it! Leicester City stand tall. They're rewarded for their hard work under Rick Passmore.